क्या एक बार सोने से प्यार हो जाता है तो एक बार सोने से खो कैसे जाता है?
A trilogy of Bollywood that is going to release in a few weeks. Pati, Patni or Wo Do, a film that doubles down on the age-old misogynistic trope of the fact that men will be men. The lack of innovation that exists in Hindi cinema currently, where the movies are largely dependent on IPs being renewed, and the prerequisite of success being that if one movie is successful, it will get several iterations of the same themes in the future. This need to do 3 films on the topic of Pati, Patni or Wo is not the case of IP dependence in Hindi cinema only, but also the lack of new ideas that production companies want to invest in. I was actually speaking to a writer recently who works on several vertical micro dramas, and he said one of the most popular themes on what clocks in maximum number of views on these shows is infidelity. What's funny or rather sad in the case of this franchise, the Pati Patni or Wo franchise, is the aspect that it perpetuates regarding infidelity. Probably also reflecting on how we as a society have not changed that much. The 1978 movie that featured Sanjeev Kumar presented him being happily married with a son, only to engage in a full-blown affair with his secretary, but posing as a man who is deeply sad because his wife is suffering from a dying ailment. He gets caught by his wife having this affair. He tries to cover it up in several ways. He even tries to bribe his secretary to squash the matter, only for the wife to decide that she will divorce and leave him. An extremely progressive decision for a movie that released in 1978. But the moment you thought it was going to be this groundbreaking creative decision, the wife is emotionally overwhelmed with her son, asking her on where she is going, compelling her to stay for the sake of her family. You would wonder that such an emotional predicament would change the husband and his ways, but he is found in the last scene saying this.
औरत एक वक्त में एक ही को प्यार कर सकती है और ये साला आदमी नाम का जो जानवर है उसका दिल इतना बड़ा होता है कि वो अपने प्यार को एक वक्त में
Now what follows afterwards is the new secretary appearing in front of him, played by Praveen Babi, only to immediately afterwards end on the cliffhanger of him presenting the same sob story about his ailing wife so that he can get the new girl's sympathy and for the audience to assume that his cheating ways will never end. It's the same Imperial Blue ad situation where the men will keep on ogling and never change. But when the 2019 adaptation of the film released, the assumption was that it will change according to the sensibilities of the 21st century. The compromise that came about in this 2019 movie starring Kartik Aaryan, Ananya Pandey and Bhumi Pednekar was that the husband does sway in the direction of the new girl but does not engage with her physically. He does love her company, he does lie to his wife, he finds excitement in this new companionship but never physically cheats. So as most sexist films do in Bollywood, rather than confronting the husband, the wife creates a ruse with her ex and this new girl in order to teach the husband a lesson कि husband को इतना guilty feel करवा दो कि वो वापस wife के पास ही जाएगा. So the compromise was that the husband made a mistake, but the only reason why the wife forgave him was because he did not physically cheat with her. But our movies also have to perpetuate the same tropes prevalent in the late 70s. So how do they end the movie? They end the movie with Kriti Sanon entering Kartik Aaryan's office inquiring about a plot. Kartik is scared because he doesn't want to repeat the same cycle, because of which he instructs her to go to someone else, only for the physical urges to be out of control and for him to shout her name, Neha, alluding to our Chintu Bhaiya having not learnt a thing. So you do the progressive take of the husband getting swayed, yes, but his conscience kicking in with respect to the new adaptation. But you still give a slight hint in the end that mard ki fitrat yahi hai. Again hinting at the fact that there is zero evolution of the leading character irrespective of the time this movie is set in. What's interesting, and I think I have often discussed this on the channel, is that the portrayal of male infidelity in commercial Bollywood movies always get the soft landing approach of comedy. You will look at movies like Masti, Shadi Number 1, Biwi Number 1, Sajan Chale Sasural, Gharwali Baharwali, Sandwich, Kis Kis Ko Pyar Karoon, No Entry. They all in the garb of commercial cinema get cushioned because it's comedy.
ऊपर वाले ने सबसे ऊपर आदमी को क्या दिया? दिमाग दिया. क्यों दिया? सोचने के लिए, झूठ बोलने के लिए, 2-4 गर्लफ्रेंड साइड में रखने के लिए.
But if the central theme of the movie is regarding a girl cheating, it's the most transformative, life-changing drama, as is the case with movies like Astitva, Gehraiyaan and Rustam, where the result of infidelity is straight up losing everything or murder. The case is simple on why Pati Patni or Vodo is being made. It's because the 2019 reboot fared extremely well at the box office. So the assumption is that the producers believe that they can keep on milking the project until it runs dry. What's better than an affair presumably only being with one woman to insinuate that there might be two? Something that we see with the promos of the third version of this same trope, in which we see Vamika Gabbi playing Ayushmann Khurana's wife as the man can be seen romancing other women including Sara Ali Khan and Rakulpreet Singh. I know for a fact that if this movie released before the pandemic and had Ayushmann at the helm of affairs, the audience would gobble it up. Mr. ROI was on such a dream run with the movies at that time that even mediocre projects would get celebrated with packed theaters. The question is whether the same tropes work even after 6 years having passed and the perception of what the audience looks forward to in the theater having significantly changed. I generally feel like movies are a reflection of the creators that are making them, and if we have, well, heard several examples in interviews where celebrities claim that physical cheating is not a deal breaker, then wouldn't it also reflect in their movies as not a big deal?
Sometimes ठंड लग जाती है.
I'm genuinely scared for a movie like Hai Jawani To Ishq Hona Hai starring Varun, Mrunal and Pooja ending up being a remake of Sandwich. Because other than Govinda being hilarious, that source material not only presents a man marrying twice, managing time between them, but also develops in such a fashion where the villain tries to kill Govinda only for both the women to come in between and get shot. The prophecy given in the movie by Shammi Kapoor was that the wife he loves less will eventually die, only to reveal that our fair and benevolent hero loves the women equally. So both get saved and he lives happily ever after with both the wives.
हमने तुमसे कहा था कि जिस पत्नी से तुम कम प्रेम करते हो उसकी मृत्यु हो जाएगी, लेकिन तुम तो दोनों पत्नियों से बराबर का प्रेम करते हो, इसलिए दोनों जीवित हैं.
Something that will age terribly if attempted today. While normalizing cheating in movies, especially when men engaged in affairs, has been a recurring theme, now there is an odd evolution or lack of taking place in Hindi movies and series with such themes where writers have almost papered over clear signs of infidelity and moved on from it like it was a mere hiccup. There are so many cases where such infidelity is almost excused and we casually move on from it. The most odd turn of events regarding an affair portrayed in a movie has to be in regards to Haseen Dilruba and Manmarzia, both featuring Taapsee Pannu. A husband fails to consummate after marriage, the ego of the husband gets hurt, overhearing the wife complaining about not being able to perform in bed. This leads to more distance in the marriage and in comes our dashing Harshvardhan Rane and sparks fly. A deeply intense relationship commences and Taapsee becomes starry-eyed of a possible future with him. A commitment-phobic Neil runs away and Taapsee comes clean about her affair to her husband, Rishu. Rather than being heartbroken and wanting to end this union, Rishu gets off physically punishing Taapsee and she bears all the pain, eventually leading them to finally getting it on. This BDSM-like affair that blossoms after Taapsee cheats on him almost acts as a catalyst for them to get more intimate. Twisted, weird and problematic indeed as they become murderers on the run by the end of it. Manmarzia is another doozy. A intense but toxic relationship between Taapsee and Vicky leads to the protagonist having a dilemma to stick around with the boy she loves unabashedly or the one on paper who ticks every box but doesn't really make her a thirsty horn dog. She chooses the pragmatic option, cheats on him because Vicky's Panju Riz is just too effective. Abhishek gets to know about the affair in a trance-like state, dances and smokes after taking off his pug. The divorce and separation is certain and the man accepts her back after a mere stroll and signing on the dotted line for divorce. I'm sorry, I know many people find nuance in the final moments of Manmarzia or Abhishek and Taapsee reconciling, but it was a major matlab kuch bhi moment for me because cheating for me is probably the biggest no-no if you're actually committing to a monogamous relationship. The stroll and the conversation wasn't even that deep or profound. De De Pyar De still baffles me. Ajay and Tabu in a moment of personally reconnecting with each other sleep together. They get it on. They have When Rakul gets to know about this the next morning, both Ajay and Tabu dismiss it as not being a really big deal, saying it didn't mean anything, saying, it just happened, you deserve to know. Rakul says, you know what I deserve? Ki tum uske saath nahi soye hote. This is where Tabu comes into the picture being holier than thou. Maine kaha tha na, baat samjhegi nahi. It's the same trope of Twinkle Khanna on her talk show condescendingly telling Janvi that she's young, she's naive to consider physical cheating a red flag.
और ऐसा नहीं कि पहली बार हुआ है, हजारों बार हो चुका है. How do you think these kids hope on?
She further has the gall to say he didn't cheat technically, you're the other woman, we are not officially divorced. Rakul is gaslit into believing that she is being unreasonable while the adults in the movie were getting it on and think everything is fine. What's the worst part is that some running time of the film passes, Ajay starts missing Rakul so much so that Tabu goes to reconcile this relationship and say, तुम्हें धोखा नहीं दे रहा था, वो मुझे सहारा दे रहा था.
तुम्हारा ही है, बस तुम्हें मानना है.
Of course, ending the iconic scene with the beautiful lines you heard in the introduction that you can always use if you cheat. I think Rakul can't get a break, by the way, on or even off camera.
We are in a situationship.
I still can't get over how casually everyone moved on from the fact that Ranveer Singh as Murad in Gully Boy cheated on Safina played by Alia Bhatt. Getting lost in the process of getting all the attention from the public, Ranveer Singh engages in a physical relationship with Kalki. Just once, it enrages Safina, leading to the scene that everyone recalls of her shattering a beer bottle on her head. What's crazy is that the movie portrays Safina as this girl vowing for Murad's attention again, almost removing any accountability of Murad having cheated. When she confronts him upon patching things up, they almost just laugh at the prospect of Safina cheating to even things up.
हाँ, ऐसे मैं भी होके आती हूँ किसी और के साथ फालतू में. तेरे को मंजूर है तो बात कर.
ठीक है, तेरे को जो करने का कर.
You live your dreams and rap and I'll be a surgeon, but let's forget about you cheating and move on. A resolution so easy that people don't even debate about it. Chalo, at least Murad jokingly said Safina can cheat if she wants to call it even, but Ranbir in Animal, when given the same prospect by Rashmika, absolutely goes bonkers.
करूँगी, for sure करूँगी.
इस दुनिया में किसी को तेरे आसपास नहीं आने दूंगा. ट्राई करके देख.
I cheated for Intel multiple times without a condom. But she was a mole.
कुछ भी.
In the movie Aap Jaisa Koi that released on Netflix recently, Bhanu played by Manish Chaudhary is treating his wife Kusum played by Aisha Raza like, we know he's the bad guy, but you're equally as bad for lying and cheating on your partner. It's rather rich of someone to cheat and then point out at the partner that you drove me into cheating. If Kusum said the same thing to Bhanu on how she was never treated equally, was mistreated and insulted, left the toxic marriage and made the courageous decision to file for divorce, it would have been what the audience would have even rooted for. This, however, weirdly made me feel like Kusum was not entitled to lecture anyone while going behind her husband's back, despite them being absolutely vile or a disgusting partner. A terrible husband can coexist with you being a cheater too. What could have been a justifiable revolt in the marriage became a preachy message that I just could not morally back. Another Dharma movie I think about is Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani immediately, and its storyline has the most conflicting viewpoints in the portrayal of a relationship shared between Dharmendra and Shabana Azmi. Jaya Bachchan's character is treated with disdain by her in-laws from day one. She handles the business and notices that the husband is aloof. And in his own world of prose and verses, the stern demeanor of Jaya Bachchan today is not how she was originally, but the circumstances within her new family compelled her to become the matriarch of today. Fearing her son would be as aloof as her father, she became protective of him, and this makes the son distant from the father. Is it slightly cruel? Yes. But is the loveless marriage only due to the apathy shown by Jaya Bachchan? No. So when Dharmendra and Shabana do go out on their dates behind Jaya Bachchan's back, I believe, well, Jaya's perspective was absolutely sidelined by the movie and she was made into a caricaturist Sadu villain. Her heartbreak or anger is justified upon knowing the rendezvous behind her back, irrespective of their loveless marriage. However, the film romanticizes this union between Dharmendra and Shabana Azmi, almost intentionally dismissing the marriage because there was never love in it. The worst example I can remember is from the show 4 More Shots Please. Jay, played by Prateek Babbar, does everything physically and emotionally possible to make Damini, played by Sayani, feel as comfortable as ever. And the moment she is intellectually stimulated by a character played by Rohan Mehra, she can't help herself but be drawn to his charm. She only answers his texts, spends ample time with him, and of course cheats on Jay. But that's not even the problem. This is a case of cheating, right? What's the worst that can happen? But imagine you confess that you cheated on your boyfriend and you make your partner feel bad for it. In a case of absolute gaslighting and a scene that will make you want to break the device you watch this show on, Damini in season 3 blames Jay for judging her every move, and the pressure of not making a mistake actually made her cheat on him. In a casual spin of words, she shifts the blame of sleeping with someone else on him, and I could not help but do an angry walk across the apartment at the sheer audacity. We keep on giving lectures about toxic characters that are glamorized in films getting a happy ending, and how it's seen as an extremely disturbing message for the audience that no matter how destructive your decisions, you can still get the girl. Critics come with this black and white perspective on such themes that characters who are evil should pay for it in the end. That's what separates responsible filmmakers and those with issues. But when it comes to infidelity, I don't know why there is this lucid perspective on it, almost as if it's no big deal, and I feel like this treatment of relationships outside of monogamous commitments in movies has reached a point of sheer hypocrisy, where one is expected to empathize with cheaters by virtue of their circumstances versus having the courage to come clean, confess, and repent for the same. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below, what do you think about this phenomena in Hindi movies? Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handles are right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.